Okay, folks, so check it out. This is what we're gonna be doing. We're gonna do a shrimp and crab Alfredo, right? I'm gonna do something a little bit different because a lot of times when I'm cooking, I'll put like some Creole seasoning. I use that Creole kick. I use that probably like 80% of the time, along with my A seasoning, right? But this time I'm gonna stay a little bit and keep it a little bit more authentic, right? We're gonna taste that Alfredo. We're gonna have this Parmesan cheese. I'm not finna spoil it, you guys. We're gonna trust the process, but the first thing we finna do is we finna go right over here and we finna start with this pasta. Okay, so this is what we're gonna do. I'm gonna be using fettuccine noodles, right? Excuse me, fettuccine pasta. Let's call it the right thing. So before I open that up, as you guys can see right there, remember, break it away from yourself so you don't get none of those steam burns, right? So we already got our water going, right? Now I'm gonna take some of this right here. You guys know about this right here, right? This right here is gonna give us that flavor. Now, this is what you wanna start using, folks, to get your pasta to have a little flavor to it. We still always add a little salt to it, right? So we got that going, right? Now I'm gonna add just a couple of pinches of salt. And then, this is my tool right here. You guys gotta get yourself some of these wooden, bamboo, squared, spoons, and just run this across the bottom right here. We wanna make sure everything, has time to dissolve, right? So look at that right there. That's what we wanna have. Now, whatever type of noodle pasta you guys are gonna be using, what you wanna do is you wanna read the box because we want this to be al dente. Right, so whatever your brand says, whether it's 8 minutes, 9 minutes, or 12 minutes, follow the instructions. And I'm gonna do something a little differently. Tell me how many of y'all used to put your spaghetti in there and grew up where you guys would take them and break them. My mother raised me that way, but now that I'm older, I don't do it like that, right? So I take the whole box, just lay it in like this, right? We're gonna keep it on high because we want it to come back. And as it, softens up, it'll drop down. Okay, so while we getting our pasta right, now look, I patted these dry, but they just been sitting around. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna give this a pinch of salt because we're gonna let this work, work inside. Shrimp is real absorbent, right? So it's a fleshy type of meat. So I'm gonna add a lot of this to this, which is fresh ground black pepper, right? It's just going, oh yeah, I can smell it. Now that I've done that, I'm not adding no more salt. I'm gonna get in here with my glove now and just move these around. Now, next to me, this right here, that's my crab meat, right? We're gonna have that, and I'm gonna do something a little different this time. We're gonna warm it up in the same, pan. So after I do this, right, we just gonna let this, sit up. Let me check my pasta, let me check my timer, and then we're gonna move over to the next step, which will be starting to go ahead and bring these up to temp and getting these nice and pink. All right, so listen, my timer just went off, right? So I'm gonna go ahead and turn this off. What I'm gonna do is, you guys wanna get yourself a cup. Obviously, I'm using my, my Pyrex, right? You wanna save some of this pasta water, right? So let me get some of this, because this got the starch in it. This right here is gonna help us make it so when it's creamy, this helps our cheese sauce, right? This helps it stick to the noodles, folks. And you know what? It's got the starch and the flavor. So I'm gonna set this off to the side. We're gonna stop this cooking process. I'm gonna take it from here. Now we come right here to the sink, right? So how we stop that? We shock it. I'm gonna put some water in here. That's cold water. So let's go ahead and drop it. Now some of you guys will say, hey, you washing off everything that you put in there as far as flavor. That is not true. When you taste it, even if you do this process like I'm doing it right here, this will just stop it and you can taste the noodle by itself and you'll be able to taste the flavor that you infused in the water. All right, so now just running here like that, that's enough. Once you stick your hand in here, you can feel the heat down at the bottom, but it's just lukewarm now. So we just leave it like that. Do not add no butter and do not add no oil to it. You know why? Because once you coat it, it'll make it a little harder for your, your sauce to stick to it. We'll just leave it like this. And then we move on to the next step. Okay, so now the next step is, which will be really obvious, right? We got to get that shrimp right. So I got me a saucepan that's big enough. This is actually my frying pan. That way I don't have to stir nothing and worry about anything splashing over, right? So let me go ahead and put some heat underneath the bottom of here. I'm gonna start with a medium flame, not medium high. We just gonna start with medium, right? Then we're gonna go with this is my extra virgin infused olive oil. This right here, let me smell it, because I got several of these. Okay, so this is garlic infused. All right, so we just add some of this to it, just like that. Now, as this comes up to temp, I'm gonna go ahead and disperse it. Let me get my spatula, grab this. I'm gonna wait till it warms up. I'm gonna write something and to try to explain to you guys how important it is to preheat your material, right? Especially when you're doing cast iron. Now this right here is hex clad. It's important here too. If the whole pan, the bottom of this is heated up right, instead of it all being on the sides over here and it only being hot in the middle, It makes it easier. So if you frying anything or you putting something in here, like let's just say we were doing shrimp like we're gonna do. If all of this is at the same temp, it's gonna come out better instead of us having to move things over this way. Once it's ready, then I'm gonna go ahead and drop it in. Giving you guys like a heads up, you know, like this is a real pro tip. Anytime you're using oil like that, like extra virgin olive oil or any cooking oil, and you add it with a little butter, you get that flavor, but it protects the butter too. Now I'm gonna go ahead and just dump our shrimp in there. There we go. Now it's not gonna take long. We got a little heat in here. My pan is such a, you know, has large volume that everything should be laying down here flat, right? Now, it's only gonna take about 2 or 3 minutes. So after about 2 minutes, I'm probably gonna flip them over. And then as they tighten up, that starts to tell me that they, you know, they cooking and they right. You do not wanna overcook your shrimp, folks. We all have done it, including myself. So we just leave it like this, and now we just don't bother. We kind of like concentrated in the center anyway, but everything was nice and hot. And now we just wait. All right, so I can see the tail starting to get a little pink. So I'm just gonna add some of this fresh cracked black pepper right here over the top. Yeah, I like that right there. And we probably only got about another 30 seconds before we just flip them over. Then we do the exact same thing on the other side, and then we're gonna stage these. Then I'm gonna show you, we're gonna warm up these crabs, right? This is that lump crab, folks. Now we don't wanna break this all the way down. I'm gonna show you how we're gonna do these. All right, so now we go ahead and do a little bit of a flip, right? So as we turn them over, this is gonna continue to tighten them up. You can see they not overcooked. Get all of these over with. Over here on this side, I'm gonna hit them with a little fresh black cracked pepper, and then we'll be able to finish these up probably in about 2 minutes. Now don't forget, I'm on a medium flame underneath. Now once they're done, you look at how you can see how they curled up, a little on the tight side, right? So now it's time to take them out. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and turn off of my fire. Any of the goodness is in here, that butter, you know, that infused olive oil, all of that's gonna be key. I just don't want it to get too hot, right? So we'll just add this here. And then what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna bring my crab, my lump crab meat, which is actually ready to go already, but we're gonna put a little heat in it, that's all, and let it absorb some of this flavor. We're gonna pick up some of that fine and get it to marinate and cook in there, only for about 120 seconds, folks. So we just add this. I just break this up a little bit, you know, because it kind of like had the mold from this dish right here, right? And now I just bring this around here like that. I want to make sure that my crab runs over all of the fine that's in the bottom of my pan. We not finna cook this like that. What we doing is we just heating it up. Now, I got my flame on low down on the bottom. We already had some residual heat, and look at this here. Yes, sir. Now I'll just spread this over here. I'll let this stay in here for, like I said, 120 seconds, and then we'll take this and add this in the same bowl as our shrimp. We're gonna take our butter, right? I'll just drop that in like that. We're gonna give it a little bit of protection, extra virgin, garlic infused, just, you only need a little bit, right? We'll let this melt. Now I'm on super low, folks, so this might just take us a minute. Meanwhile, let's go ahead and shred some of this cheese, right? So this right here is my parm. I'm gonna go on this side right here. You're gonna need yourself about a cup, right? So we'll just start getting this going right now. So I just need a cup. I'm starting to get it now, folks, and not just shredding a whole bunch of cheese. As far as the parm go, I don't need to have a whole lot of parm on deck, you know? So we'll just do it like this. Get this in here, and we'll call that a day. 1 cup. Now we're gonna do the same thing for this Romano and bring that over here. Let's go ahead and get that set up. And we only need a 1/2 cup. Now this is a much, much softer, you know, so this will go fast and easy, and I can see it. Talk to me, folks, and let me know. Do you guys like the smell of Romano? Okay, so remember I said that we were gonna be on super low, right? We do have the protection from our, you know, extra virgin olive oil in here along with our butter. And we don't have anything, you know, because I always tell everybody when you go ahead and put your garlic in, especially if you're missing it, you know, on the go, you want to put it on top. But obviously we don't have nothing to put it on top of, right? So look what I'm gonna do. Since we on low, now I can go ahead and just take this. This is my press. All you guys should have these. Like, man, I done already went through 3 batches of these. You know what I mean? If you don't have one, let's get them. Let's go ahead and put this in here like this. You just want to get yourself something hard, break it loose, and now we just gonna bring this around. Now, if we on super low, we good. We not finna burn it or nothing like that. I want you to make sure though. Let me adjust mine, right? We just want to get the fragrance to be in here, right? So now we got garlic infused olive oil, and butter. Now, I'm gonna say after about 1.5 minutes, then you wanna go ahead and add in your cream. So we get that going. Let me get it all. This is gonna be that sauce, folks. So we'll just work just like this. Now I'm gonna raise my temperature up in just 1 second. Let me just get it all incorporated. Now I'm gonna look down here on the bottom and I wanna raise this up to just a medium flame. Because what we wanna do is we wanna get it, we don't want it to boil, we want it like a gentle simmer, right? And we already know if I center this like this, that everything is gonna be concentrated, the heat will be right here, right? I'm gonna just keep moving this around and let it pick up a little bit of the heat. And once I see it start to boil right here, then I'm gonna move on to the next. All right, so this is what I'm talking about. Look at that right there. That's perfect, right? So I'm just giving it a little bit of stir. It'll try to thicken up on you just a little bit. That'll tell you headed in the right direction, right? So this is what we're gonna do. I'm gonna go ahead and hit this with just a generous pinch of salt. That's all I need. And now I'm gonna add some fresh black crack, right? Now I want you guys to talk to me down in that comment section below. Have you been able to tell the difference between like when we do this over a salad or when we cook with it? I'm telling you, it takes on a different taste, but I love to hear that you guys are like noticing that too. It'll help you create dishes, you know, when you're cooking, put you out there and you start doing different things and coming up with different flavors. Now I'm getting ready to add my Italian seasoning to it. You guys can make your blend, you know what I mean, if you don't have any, or this is where you can be creative, you know, and make what you want to make. You know, you can have any flavor profile that you want, but I want to keep it a little bit more on the Italian side. You know what I mean? That's why I didn't hit it with no Creole kick. Man, this is coming together perfectly. And I haven't even hit it with no cheese. So one of the things I tell everybody, especially if you new, low and slow, the same way I teach when we do barbecue, if you keep your fire low, it might take you longer to achieve your goal, but I promise you, you won't have no mistakes. See how low I am? Now watch this. You can see the steam coming off. I'm gonna leave it alone. You already know it's hot. It takes a minute for it to start to simmer right here in the middle. It's starting to roll just a little bit. I don't know how I got away from saying this, but I want everybody to know, especially since we're coming up on a holiday, it's a must that you keep that hot soapy water. That's what I have over there next to me. You know what I mean? I keep that. Been washing dishes as I can, right? But this right here kind of like commands all your attention, right? So anyway, now we got cheese. I'm gonna go ahead and start out with my Romano because I like it. Now this is completely optional, you know what I mean? You guys add it if you like it. I tell you, if you ask me, I'm gonna tell you to try it. So a little bit at a time, and just that little bit of heat right there. Look how it melts. We'll add that. Right now, my whole kitchen smells like we somewhere, I dare not say Italy. I ain't never been, you know what I mean? But you can tell that we cooking something, you know, on the Italian side. Now, watch this. I'm getting ready to turn my heat off because I don't want to put too much heat in here and destroy my cheese sauce, right? This is how you make that Alfredo. There's enough heat in here. If you don't believe me, look, that was a perfect way for me to show you. Let me get this to melt right now. We're just gonna use the residual heat that's in here. Now pay attention to this part right here. Remember, my fire is off. If I drop this on here like that, look, as I pull this back, you see how it starts to melt? That's enough. And then this sauce right here is already hot. You see it? That's all you need. You don't need to put all that heat in there. And then don't forget, we got that secret weapon. We did save some pasta water back, right? That's gonna be key. That's gonna help. Now, once I got this smooth, you know what we finna do. That's right. We finna go ahead and add that shrimp and that crab meat. Now, I want you to see this. You remember we had that pasta water? Like if it's a little thick, you know what I mean? This is good. This is a nice creamy sauce. You guys can just see the way it is. You can see it gets a little stringy. This is perfect. But if you wanna add just a little bit to it, I just wanna show you guys how to use it. To be honest with you, it's good. I'm gonna save the rest of this so when I add my pasta to it, right? When I add the pasta to it, I'll have some, just in case it's not sticking and rolling the way I would like for it to do, I'll just add something to that. But right now, when you see this right here, this is what I'm talking about. Now, there's no need to fake no funk. Now it's time to just add everything to this right now. Look at that. And with that crab meat, come on, folks. Now next, we're just gonna introduce our pasta to it. Now, you can see the pasta that I'm using. You know you guys can use any kind of pasta you want to. Bow tie, you can, whatever. You know, pasta to me. But this right here gets you that look that you're looking for. You know what I mean? You can put this out there. Long pasta noodles. Look at that. And it's nice and sticky. You see it? We're gonna get the rest of it in there. If you didn't do nothing else, like you gotta trust the process. I know some of y'all, you gotta hit it with that butter, huh? Just trust me, folks. Don't fool with the butter at all. You know what I mean? AB ain't never steered you wrong. You know what I mean? But if you got a better way, I mean, you can keep them from being so sticky. But you ask me, it's the stickiness that help adhere to. We're just gonna keep rolling this over. It's got a nice flavor to it. Also, folks, that crab meat is what do it. All right, folks, so look, this is it right here. You know what I mean? I done plated it. You know, I took a few pictures of it. As you can see, it's nice and creamy. You know what I mean? I done tasted it already, so I'm gonna go ahead and get myself some of this. It done cooled off a lot. You know, it's not as warm as I would like it to be, You know what I mean? When you're taking pictures of food, it's a process, right? So let me go ahead and get some of this in here. Oh, look at that. This is a lot, folks. Hold on 1 second. So here we go. Listen, I'm not finna over talk it. You can see though, look at that right there. If you guys don't believe me, you could see that the shrimp is cooked perfectly. You know what I mean? Like I said, I've been tasting it at all different stages. I'm not gonna lie to you. I've been tasting it at the end because it just was right. And I just love the flavor. I'm glad I didn't, hit it with the Creole kick just so we can get something a little bit more on the authentic side. But anyway, I'm rambling. Let's eat. Cheers. All right, so listen, that right there is good. Now, here's the thing. When you guys are cooking your noodles, it's up to you guys how you like them, right? If you go al dente, if you guys know what the definition of al dente is, you know what I mean, the noodle can be a little bit, it's just not as soft as if I would have gave it like another 5 minutes. For me, I do like mine in between like al dente and like, fully cooked. We do al dente when we do a lot of cooking in the sauce, but here we just kind of like put the sauce on the top, yada, yada, yada. And it really wasn't no more cooking with it, right? So if you ask me, my opinion is if it says al dente, you know what I mean? I would just say, go ahead and add yourself about 5 more minutes to it. Now that's truly up to you. Try it this way and then, make the decision for the next time you make it. Now, with that being said, I'm getting ready to eat this, right? So listen, if you're new to my channel, let me just take this time to say thank you for watching this video. Don't forget to like, smash that subscribe button, and tell everybody out there there's a channel out here that's simplifying these recipes and taking the mystery out of cooking. Now look, you see this here? Now come on over here, look. This is what they done left me with. You know what I mean? Hey, listen, we out. Peace.